Hi. Hi, Vibha. Nice to see you here. We'll just wait for a few more to join. Hi, Radhika. Anju, hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Leena. Hi, Anju. Hi, Jayu. So today we have a very special guest with us, Meera. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, Leena. Leena, Lena. So today we are joined by Meera. She's the owner of Terra Foods. So I'm waiting for her to come in. She's one of our special guests, our special awardees. And she's won the award from Green Goddess. Meera, please come inside. Thank you, Camilla. Hi, Meera. I see you. Would love to start the show with you because it's already time. I've sent you the invite. Please do come in, Meera. Thank you, Nina. Hi, Anu. Meera will be joining us shortly. I will start her introduction as soon as she joins us.
Hi.
Hi, Meera.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Same here. So, dear viewers, dear Green Goddess, this is the famous Meera Maran from Terra Foods, Terra.Earth Foods. I just happened to speak to her this time, though I've always, last few years, been in touch with her. And if I would have never got this chance to present her today, I would have never known what an amazing lady she is, what a journey she's had, and the jigsaw puzzle of her life which fit in so beautifully. Meera, I'm really impressed. We spent a lot of time talking yesterday, and you told me so many things.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing how this journey started with you at home, where it became a necessity, and today you're a professional architect.
Yes.
But your passion is Terra with all earth. Terra means earth, right?
Yes, it's the root word of terrain actually.
And the way you conducted yourself and the way you've had different platforms of food and where this journey started, your food philosophy, please share it with us, Meera.
Yeah. Hi, Manju, and hi to everybody who's here. And I must actually first thank you, Manju, for thinking of us for this Green Award. I think when you asked me, is it for the company or is it for you? And I said it's for Terra Earth Food because I think without all the 85 other people who are here, this is just an idea on paper. So I just wanted to thank you for this lovely citation that you sent us. And all our team and staff were so happy to see the same. It's like I think it probably is one of the first times the team itself has been acknowledged. I must thank you all for that.
Thank you so much, because when we go down the session and when we start talking about the women entrepreneurs, I mean, part of the association you have with them, people will understand more. So please start with your food philosophy and you.
Yeah, as you said, I'm basically an architect, and that's what I used to do for the first innings of life, so to speak, for about 20 years. And in the meantime, actually, my daughter, when she was 4, she's now 20. She developed a skin condition, eczema and atopic dermatitis, and the conventional treatments were all focused on steroidal creams and all that. And that was actually a trigger to start thinking about an alternative. That is very quickly because we could see the kind of suffering that was happening. And so we went on our own journey of reading more about how food can cure this, because ultimately you are what you eat. So So we found that after a lot of reading and associating the eczema with the leaky gut syndrome, we understood that going gluten free, going completely lactose free, and also not having sugar because it feeds the candida bacteria and all that, we decided to eliminate all these three from our general eating itself. But when you remove wheat and the milk and sugar, I think a lot of fun also flies out of the window for a child of 4. There is no
Very
cake. You
tough,
have to,
very tough.
yeah. It became so limiting because you cannot have anything that you could call a treat. So that became a quick necessity for me to literally the next day think of something what she can drink. Like you can't have your milk now, so what do you do? So that's when there were not enough. In fact, there was nothing as an option to purchase from a store at that point. Now, I mean, the words vegan and gluten free are much more present. I'm talking about 16 years ago.
Yes.
So I had to quickly come up with options at home, and that's when I started making a lot of nut milk. I learned to make cakes out of brown rice. We started making pizza out of jowar, and so that became its own culinary journey in just to keep the child's life sane or normal, so to speak. And I found that a lot of other parents were in the similar boat when they came to know that I could make a birthday happen. I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but what kind of birthday would you have? You can't cut one idli or something.
Absolutely.
So you'll
Yeah.
have to, so you need a cake. And so I could make a possibly nice cake with that. And a lot of requests were there for many years, actually. And I used to make it as a favor for a lot of people. Many were very embarrassed to take it as a favor. There was a constant nagging, like, why don't you make this formal? Why don't you make it proper? Because I was basically an architect. I was just doing this for the lack of helping whoever was needed this. So literally after 8 long years or so, I felt that architecture felt a little bit like been there, done that. We had done a lot of projects enough to show for ourselves, and that's when I thought this looks like a more meaningful thing to do, and this sang a little more to my heart at that point. So I was in the US for about 3 years, and I got a lot of exposure to the gluten-free options and all, which I could see at Whole Foods and so many other places. I attended the Culinary Institute of America and the French Culinary Institute briefly, not the entire degree
That's
courses.
amazing, right? Because you were so passionate that your daughter should eat right.
Yeah.
And for you to attend these courses and understand food assimilation, amalgamation, that's superb.
Thank you. Because, that looked like the only solution, really. Otherwise, she would have had to manage that condition for the rest of her life, and there was no way we were going to accept that. So then we were looking at what are the just fire on all cylinders, so to speak. So it was just to get a feel of because by then the idea was brewing that I should do something in food, and this is the journey we wanted to take. I wanted to be the place where I can give that option, and I wanted to also see how a kitchen felt. So that's why I joined these culinary institutes, just to see what a professional kitchen felt like and whether that's something I would enjoy and be able to manage. And it was right up my alley, actually. I really liked what I did. And once we came back here, that is when I slowly tapered down the architectural practice, and in 2012 we started this journey of Terra Earth Food. I had already called it Earth Food, and that the name Earth Food is what perhaps encapsulates the food philosophy, so to speak. Because for me, the word organic is almost like you take it for granted. I don't think there
Yes.
can be any other way to eat. It's not like a qualifier, it's just taken for granted. The qualifier for me is the nature of the ingredients, to be unpolished, to be unrefined, to be unbromated, to be unbleached, because these are the things that actually change the nature of the food, as it were, and cause you internal inflammations, chronic conditions. A lot of things happen when you tamper with the food too much. So the whole point was to keep food in the form the closest to the form that the earth gave it to you. So that's
So
why we
less
called it earth
processed.
food. Yeah, yeah,
So
unprocessed is probably.
at your shop, you generally have less processed everything.
Yeah, the processing would be enough to just make it edible, so to speak. Like, so it's not about bleach. There won't be any white rice, there won't be any white sugar, there won't be any of the refined flours, there won't be any refined oils. So there are a lot of, because each of these ingredients that you use every day, there is so much of intervention in that in the way the nature packaged it, that
Yes.
it's not even food anymore in the way the body recognizes it. So when you remove all those hindrances to your system and stop challenging your system every day with inflammatory food, I think there's a bedrock for good health in general. So my daughter's situation became a blessing, and today she's completely fine. But it took many years of staying completely off all these allergens allergens and inflammatory food. So that's how this whole thing began.
I like one line of yours where you speak about the gut to me. I had to write this down because you said fear and anxiety is always in your stomach, the
Yeah.
second seat of emotion. That's
Yes.
such a beautiful line, That's such a beautiful line.
Yeah.
And talking about your range of products now, your store is the first store I've heard of activated charcoal Mysore Pak.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've never heard of people make fig cakes with orange juice as a sweetener in it.
Yes.
I'm still waiting to taste this.
Okay.
And
And the
your
flour
banya.
that is besan and kudravali, barnyard millet. So there is no maida, there is no other flour. So we I think the raw materials, once you get it right, whatever you make out of it would be I think a healthy food. As I told you yesterday, I don't like to separate the words healthy and food.
Yes,
Food should be
yes,
healthy. It's a given. So food, let's just
yeah.
call it food. Yeah.
Yeah, because you said you were shocked when people say, eat this is healthy. And you're like, why should you say this is healthy? Because
Yeah.
food is healthy,
It has to
you know?
be. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're the only shop which I personally seen a lot of green mixtures at your shop.
Yes.
And school kids, I've noticed school kids come in and have that green juice. So please tell
Yeah.
us about that juice and a little more about your products.
See, largely, as I told you, I like to focus on the ingredients. The end product is not necessarily a traditional snack or some recreation of something ethnic. We would like the raw materials to remain very local and very true to our land, because when you say organic, you also talk about food miles. We don't want to import some fantastic raw material and do something. So, in that sense of being organic, we keep it local. But at the same time, the expression should, I feel, be true to the times. You maybe a child would enjoy a ragi cake more than if you gave a ragi kanji to school, for example. So I think it's just the packaging of what we do in terms of the form of the end product. So we focus on the raw materials, and then the end product emerges. So when we do juices and all that, the first we have a few rules. We are never going to sweeten a juice with some sugar. That's it. So we just have to find some way to make it nice, and we know the goodness of a raw green juice. So the juice that you're talking, it's an arakirai and pineapple juice. It's a brilliant green. And what was good is, I think it's we who feed the children the idea of something healthy
Yes,
must be terrible. It's not like
absolutely.
that. People have children are born with an open mind. So we find that children actually, that became the most popular juice in the store. We generally serve a couple of fresh juices in the store every day, and we found that it's nobody's as long as you don't scare someone that something is healthy, so it will be terrible. I think people are with an open mind, and children enjoy these things. We have as you said, that green juice. We have actually a beans Mysore Pak made with green beans, and it's a very
Oh,
nice pale green one. And so I think they're just not afraid of experimenting.
experimenting.
And the
Yes.
black Mysore Pak you said is it's made with activated charcoal. That is actually a fantastic detox in a very small quantity. And the main thing is, it's not just about us thinking of something new to do. We feel that people are game to take it also. In fact, this Mysore Pak was made for a wedding.
Return,
We had
return
a
gift
day
at the
a return
ITC.
gift. It was like a room snack which the guests take home. So we did a
Yeah.
daytime theme where everything was yellow with turmeric and tinai and so many things. And the night theme was completely with the kauni arisi, which is the black rice and black Mysore Pak. And the whole thing is, people are game for that. And the architect in me likes to design these things. In fact, we begin with the color scheme in mind most of the time. I sort of think backwards. So we need a green Mysore Pak. We begin there, and then we'll think backwards. What is the best vegetable that could complement that? And we can dare to make a beans Mysore Pak, and people will actually buy it. And that has been a very gratifying thing. It's not just about.
I'm sure. And you have a lot of loyalists who, like for years, few of my family friends, they
Mm-hmm.
buy a lot of
Oh,
grains from you.
so
Lots, I know,
so
I know.
nice, so nice.
And what was hitting my mind just now was, I think you're the first person I've heard who used, was it the purple idli? You made
Yeah.
something. Could you just tell us little, because our viewers would have never heard of a purple idli.
Yeah. See, we create a lot of rules for what we make. And one of the rules is, wherever you can substitute water with something more potent, no, don't use water. So any smoothie, any juice we make, the liquefaction should be through, say, a cucumber or through a watermelon or through some other juicy fruit or a vegetable, because that also adds so many minerals and vitamins. And so it's just like packing every bite a little bit. So when we make the idli, instead of, I think, making the flour, I mean, making the batter with water, we just made it with the beetroot juice. And the whole thing ferments into a brilliant, nice color, and it gives a lovely idli. And we had little pieces of purple cabbage in that, like specks of purple.
You
So
should
that was
take
one of the
workshops.
first things we did. Yeah.
No, I just realized you're not taking any workshops. You should teach us how to make all
Maybe I
this.
should, yeah. So since I
And
like color, color schemes
it
are the driving force actually.
it is us who have conditioned, refined sugar, put this in coffee, put it in tea. If we
Right,
had started off, even me, if I knew if I'd started off then that we
right.
have to use organic jaggery or,
Yes,
something like palm sugar,
yes,
because so this concept, actually what you're doing is not new, but you're doing something so beautiful to bring back old into the new.
right,
That's
right.
amazing. And I also came to know that you have a lot of women workers. It's
Yeah,
not just about you encouraging women, what my question is going to be. So, without feeling like you're very modest on this when we spoke, without feeling like, oh, I shouldn't share this, I'm very impressed how you arrange for your workers the home tuition, their children.
yeah.
That is something I've not seen someone do. So these children shouldn't waste time. These women will concentrate at work. So I leave this to you to explain to our viewers about this.
Yeah, this entire journey of the Terra Earth food itself became an organic journey. It sort of grew step by step.
Hmm.
So I believe in a work-life balance. While work takes a lot of time, being not wasting time in commuting and many things, I had set some rules for life itself. So when even before we began Terra Earth Food, I sort of rented the building opposite my house because I knew this is going to become Terra Earth Food or something at some point because of the time it takes. So might as well be able to come home and go back and keep this in and keep this sane. So and the street actually ends in a fisherman's colony. We are on the beach. So
Okay.
when we initially looked for this whole journey began also very organically. I was telling you, like, once we just made some kudravali murukku, and that is at home, and I just sent it to a few people and people liked it. And by the time I had solidified the idea of Terra, and this was a journey that began with a storyboard, not with a business plan, because being an architect, that was more comfortable. But the storyboard remains a sort of like it's set in stone kind of storyboard, so we don't deviate from the principles that we set. And in fact, this storyboard is printed and put up on the stores also, like a constant reminder for what we should do. And if something doesn't fit that gamut, we are not going to do it at all.
So it's
So
basically like a Terra mantra.
yeah, so to
Terra's
speak. Yes,
mantra.
yes, yes. Terra's mantra. We have 6 pages of the storyboard, and those actual sketches I've just put up in the stores because I want the staff also to feel the same. I want the customers to know where we came from. So that was the beginning point. And once the storyboard and ideas were ready, it was just a matter of forming the team. And a lot of people were like, you're going to find labor very difficult. I think that word bothered me a lot. It's an anathema to me to it sort of denigrates what they do. I was looking for a team, not for labor. So once we shift the word to what you're looking for, then you'll find what you're seeking also. So I
Yeah.
was looking for intelligent, smart people. That's all. They don't need to have a background in cooking. All that emerged as time went by because I started with the sister-in-law of my housekeeper at home. I told her, like, we're going to do something. Anybody at home available? She brought her, and then another friend of mine brought in her niece who was available. And so it began with both of them. Actually, two of them head the production right now with 85 people under them. But they were the first two people who joined us, and they were from this street. And it became like a word of mouth that, okay, this woman will give you some work to do. And the building was in the same street, so you don't need to commute to work. And I felt just like I enjoy the balance of going to home or keeping home and work in balance. Most of these women, I think, are almost in technically single parents because the men, unfortunately, tend to be drunkards or they are not family oriented at all. So
Yeah.
if the buck stops with all these women. So I think we wanted to make their life simple. And slowly it just emerged that anybody who works here, it becomes the qualification that you stay on the street. And that really has worked well for us now. There, all the women just by word of mouth bring their friends. They sort of know what to expect and what we expect out of them. So, and we generally train everybody to be generalists. We don't slot them into a role as soon as they enter the task. Like
there is no hierarchy. That
no,
is like,
it is very flat. And you will know cooking, you will know to make murukku, but I would like you to know packing also, so that the show still goes on if somebody's there or not there. So
and
this
sweep
whole,
the floor.
pardon?
They could sweep the floor if
They
someone
could.
doesn't come.
I could also. So that's where
Yeah.
we begin. I would also. So there is no hierarchy there. If the table is dirty, I'm going to wipe it, and they are going to do it. So in a way, that team slowly started forming. And then when we understood more and more about their personal lives and all that, we're seeing that many of them are working in a place for the first time. Most of them were wives of fisherwomen whose only job used to be to sell the fish if they caught any. So this became like a steady job for the first time. But very often the children, the home, the cooking, everything was there. The buck stops with them. And we wanted peaceful people at work so that the food they produce comes from a good place. You know, you don't want to be fretting and worrying about things. So we were looking to check off what are the things that might bother you. So we'll pay you a good salary, at least financially we take care of you. The second is we provided free lunch and tea and everything to everybody. You don't need to pack your food and come. And the third thing I found is the children were a big botheration because
That's
since it
a
was the
very
beach,
good point.
because when they went home, the children were already disappeared to the beach. They can't even find them. And this homework and school and everything was just up in the air. Children were dropping out of school. And that's all because you cannot go to school with the homework done. So school becomes a bad experience. So when we found this gap, like these are all first generation parents with children in English medium, they would hardly know the subjects that they're doing. So you can't even help at home. So we thought, okay, let's check that off. So we took a small building next to our kitchen, and my husband's office. We told them to see if they could volunteer some tutors because we were not able to afford to pay for them. But there were a lot of willing people who are willing to spend say 3 hours in the evening with them. So anybody comes back from school, they are taken to. They'll just go to that building only, have a juice or something, and the whole thing was by 6 o'clock you get your homework done before Amma comes. So
This
that
is
way.
a beautiful form of seva service, because how many employers think for their employees this? You want to give them that peace, comfort, seat
Yeah.
comfort. Their
Because I felt
productivity will
otherwise
be,
it's very unfair. No, I enjoy all that.
yeah, that's
There's no
great.
cook at home for them making dinner. They have to go and do all that also.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
you know, this comfort you give them makes productivity happier. I
definitely.
feel it gives better vibration into your product,
Definitely.
which,
In fact, it's not even to uh, say it excessively, but many people who visit the kitchen always say there's good vibration. I think it's
yes,
just that we want happy people, and everybody has stayed with us. Unless I forcibly am going to send anybody out for which nobody has given me much reason to, I don't think we lose people at all. So the people who came on in 2012 are still here with us. The entire team is still there. So that way, that's why I said the award belongs to them. I'm just the idea maker, and it will all stay on paper if these people were not there.
no, because food is something and health is something, and you making sure they're comfortable. You've spoken about your amazing range of products. You've spoken about your mantra, your philosophy. You said, you were talking about that board which has 6 things on it. If
Yeah,
it's out of this, you will not do that. Can you
yeah,
just tell me too? I'm sure our viewers would like to know about your
yeah.
ideology.
We could. So when I was starting this whole journey before the storyboard, my ideas were on so many papers and so many sketchbooks, and so finally I wanted to solidify it into something solid because it'll have too many ramifications of how many things you could do with food. So to set the philosophy and the grammar, I was only trying to set the grammar, not the specifics. So the grammar would be that the first storyboard is where everything is whole, meaning the raw material and the ingredients and whatever we use remain unrefined, unprocessed. So that sets the grammar for what are the raw materials. And the second one was where mindful is the norm. So where mindful is the norm, meaning there are so many dots to connect when you go organic. It's not about just buying organic products and keeping it on the shelf. So, for example, in the kitchen, even though the vessels are huge, you can climb into it, but we still wash it only with shikakai and lemon and all that. We don't use krill just because it's convenient. So
Oh,
we would never
you
have any
still,
chemicals in the kitchen at all. It's not about whether somebody is coming to see it or not. We know It doesn't matter if the weather.
Can you
Anybody else.
please tell that recipe again for certain of us and others who need to know?
We
What do they
actually,
wash?
there's a company, Wild Ideas, in the store. They make for us a special extra strong shikakai with lemon peel and all that in that, with rita, shikakai, and lemon. So there's a lot of grease, no? So we sprinkle that powder, let it soak for a while, and then you wash the vessels. It'll actually help because we have a lot of snacks being made, so many things being done. The floor we wipe with the probiotic because so that it's clean always. So there are a lot of things that we'd like to do correctly. Where mindful is the norm would mean we don't use microwaves, we don't use non-stick pans. Yeah, a lot of things, non-stick pans and all that we won't
So
use.
you'll use a lot of traditional cooking.
We use cast iron vessels only most of the time for all the kadais and everything. The bigger ones would be stainless steel. So so mindful for me would be all this. Even when we do the store interiors, being an architect, it feeds my only avenue to design. And we always look out for used furniture. So most of the store interiors you'll see would be with refurbished furniture only. So wherever we can, we may not hit 100, but I think even 70, 80 is better than 0. So I think that's a journey. We may get to 80, 85. We'll slow. So there will be some faults we still do, but there are many dots we have connected. So where mindful is the norm is the second storyboard, and the third one is where the spirit is green. So that should be the spirit behind any decision that we take. So that's why I said these are grammars, not necessarily recipes or specifics. So the shopping bag in the store is always newspaper only. We don't do non-woven. We don't do recyclable plastic because that is still plastic with a little bit of enzymes. So we're trying to, while some products are still in plastic, at least this part we thought we'll tackle. And each one sets up its own ecosystem. The newspaper bags are actually made by an old age home, Cheshire Home, and by physically challenged people from the Andhra Mahila Sabha.
So I'm not saying anything. Everybody out there knows about now your philanthropist nature.
Fact, no. This is to give credit to those people.
You're helping people. That's amazing. And see, one more thing. We are going to take the questions, but in this, I see Leena and few others asking where the store is, and since it's better they hear it from you, where your store is located.
We have 3 stores currently in Chennai. There is one in Neelangarai, one in Alvarpet, Abhirampuram 4th Street, and there is one in Adayar, which is opposite Pizza Hut in Kasturbai Nagar. Apart from that, we do a lot of home deliveries every day. So we are sort of reachable through Chennai. Because of the lockdown and all that, some areas may be not reachable. But once this settles down, we can go back to delivering almost anywhere within Chennai.
Okay, so you do have regular clients, as I can see the questions going. I don't know why Divya wrote radiation. Divya, a friend of ours, she's written radiation. And Leena says, thank you for telling the address. I do see we are nearly, we do have 2 minutes, but I need them to know your amazing bread. Because my friends out here, even I didn't know that, okay? Okay, dear viewers, Tara makes, I have to read this because this is new for me. Upama bread. I'll describe it and you tell it. She makes sesame jaggery seeds bread, arakira bread, turmeric and cumin bread, and amazing pizza base with jowar base. And she says when people have eaten her bread, her upma bread, it tastes like upma. Yeah. And a flat bread made from zucchini. Yeah. So I know our girls and our viewers here, they like this variety. It spices their life up. Yeah. Please describe 2-3 things about your bread and we'll take in 2-3 more questions.
Yeah. Fundamentally, we are vegan and gluten-free as a baking section, and most of the products, 99% of the products are vegan and gluten-free. Some of the laddus have ghee, and I'm still figuring out what to do with that. Once we are done, I think that also will become vegan. Everything else is vegan and gluten-free by default. So the breads are always made with kudravali, that is barnyard millet or ragi, jowar. We use a little bit of thinai. We use brown rice. It's the flavors that we mix in the upma bread, for example. It's tempered with mustard seeds and green chili and thorambarku, kadalaparku, ulutambarku and all, just like you do for upma. So when you toast it and have it with a little bit of pickle, it's like having a nice South Indian breakfast. So, and people are game for that. We have a sakara pongal cake actually. It'll taste just like sakara pongal because it's made with all the ingredients of sakara pongal, jaggery and ginger and a little bit of cardamom.
Many are waiting for this lockdown now to run and go get those things. And Sujata is asking, why not a microwave? She's asked you that.
Microwave is a dicey decision because there is so many schools of thought that consider that the way it heats up food is by rapidly vibrating the molecules rather than by heating the container and therefore the food. So they say that when you rapidly vibrate the molecules and create that kind of heat, that's why the vessels are never hot when you microwave. It's only the food that gets hot.
Yeah,
Whereas on a flame and all that, the vessel is what is making the food hot. You're not tampering with the molecular nature of the food itself. So they say just change the nature of the food. So we don't want to play around with that, and that's why we don't choose any shortcuts. Yeah.
Sujata, I hope this answers you. And Meera, everybody is in love with you. There's so
Thank
many
you.
of my friends out there who saying lovely, wow, Leena,
Thank you.
Jayu, Nina, all of them. And I think something different else about the store you can share, because I could see people amazed by your bread variety, amazed by your different things you do. And so I think you could just share any one more thing and
Yeah. See, generally as a food philosophy, like I said, we don't use water in so many things. We try to eliminate white rice in most of the recipes where you'd expect white rice. For example, we have a lot of dosa batters again, without rice. We have one which is called a black kadai. We are very not afraid of black at all. It's made with black rice and black horse gram and a lot of green chilies. So a lot of people like the black kadai. Then we have a rajma dosa made with rajma beans and this thing. So these are all like almost keto options where you can, when you want to go grain free or you want to go rice free. We have a pasiparpu dosa. We have a lot of varieties in interpretations of batters itself. And then we do a lot of tiffin mixes where your pongal is made with kudravali and your rava dosa is made with tinai. So we tried, Indian millets are brilliant. Each one has its own character. So we just try to channelize those into not only just South Indian tiffin mixes, and we have a lot of granola also. None of them will have the usual oats and wheat and all that. We have a desi granola made with red rice, aval and jaggery. It will feel like eating one putti sakra pongal. Then we have jowar granola. We have
no, I like that your granola didn't turn black. For many of our friends, they still they don't know
no, but
about
we
your
are
black.
working on a black one. We'll get there. We have to
So
have a black.
there's a vegan person, Marine, who I had spoken. She's another awardee. She's floored by your talk. I can see 10 comments of hers.
You're so sweet.
Asha says, how truly Terra, earth friendly. Dear friends, please follow terra.earthfoods in Instagram. I happened to do so yesterday and I saw many recipes there which we would like. And all of you could see that.
We
And
had a 21-day juice class for 21 days of lockdown. So that could be a nice starting point. There are a couple of black juices also in there. So you could do that. And so that would be a nice series to try and see when you have time.
oh, so again, Leena Subramaniam is coming to pick half your shop. That's what she's written.
Oh, how nice. So nice. Thank you.
So, Meera, this has been a great session. It has really been interactive. I've also again learned new products. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you. Green Goddess is so happy to have you.
Thank you, Manju. And I mean, putting the kind of energy and time of such dynamic women like you behind a cause like greening the earth, I always feel this is not just an event. It's not a one-day affair. You're leaving a legacy and a foundation for all life on the planet, not just our children, the children of every living creature. So I think you're all blessed.
So Anju, my Green Goddess partner, says that you must have a juice session. I agree with her completely.
Why not? We'll do that.
And a workshop to teach me also these kire, arakire. I can't pronounce that kundra kire.
We'll do that. We'll have a peaceful session on Kirai, no problem.
Something, Manju, please repeat the email. Which is the email? I don't know, Camilla. And
this thing, Instagram handle is terra.earthfood. Facebook is terraearthfood.com. And any queries and all that, you could send on orders at terrafoods.co.
So much for me.
Too much information. Terra.earthfood is good. Then once you get there, all the details will be there.
Okay, perfect. And I would like to, Meera, please be with me still.
Sure.
I would like to again thank our sponsors, Sanuku, Fruit Print, Swasta, Kara Soaps, of course, our dear Nina Savera, Brew Room, and Amravati with
So
all
nice.
her fancy snacks. Now,
So nice. Your basket was much appreciated. It's still there behind me if you can
yeah,
see.
I
Yeah.
see that. I see the basket.
Yes.
It was packed a lot by Nina and her family late night,
So
and we
nice.
just
I
looked at
mean,
it like that.
we have a lot of oldies at home. Everybody had a lovely time finishing up everything in
So
there.
sweet.
Thank you so much.
So glad to have interacted with you. So happy I am personally to know you. I can see so many of them out there wanting to connect. And I'm
So nice.
requesting workshops after this great lockdown.
Will
And
do.
it's perfect. So now we'll sign a goodbye. I think we've overshot the time, but we've
Oh,
enjoyed.
okay.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't matter. We all enjoyed overshooting this time.
Oh, so nice.
So,
So nice. So kind of you.
Green Goddess, thanks you. Thank you so much for this lovely, informative, interactive, magical journey with you. And we're so happy that, really I could talk to you this time, knowing
So
you for
nice.
two.
Thank you.
So
Thank
we'll
you for
take leave, Meera.
lovely evening too. I think
And
you've given us something that the whole team will cherish, and that is so precious to me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll thank even I think many of them are just so happy, but I'm not able to say everybody's name. Camilla, Sonia, Vibha, Auntie, all are happy.
So
So
nice.
thank you, and now we will say see you.
Tata. Thank you so much, Manju. That
Bye.
was lovely. Thank
Most
you.
welcome. Thank you.